working in early stage deals, it takes potentially. I mean, I'm in one I've been in for 23 years now. 8 is a more reasonable number, and 5 if you're lucky. But
by the way, if I can say it, among venture capitalists, you're unique in lots of ways, but especially that way, because I think one could argue that many venture capitalists have very short attention spans. 23 years?
Yeah, well, I didn't mean it to be 20.
Well, never do. But I think it's safe to say also many others in your cohort would be like, okay, somebody else, please bust these rocks, please handle this.
But it also fits with your perspective. Different firms have different approaches to this. We being new in Accel and being focused by industry, we took an approach to, if we thought we had the thing pretty well dialed in as a good idea, now it's you have to get a tailwind in these markets. Sure. It's not just the entrepreneur.
Right.
And but the timing of that is really hard to predict. And, you can see it coming, but geez, when's it going to really, click into the enterprise market or whatever? Right. And so we were very stick to it in our projects and would carry them a lot longer. And we'd have much higher percentage wins, but sometimes they took quite a while. Somebody like, say, Sequoia, who'd been in the business for a long time, or KP, could take the approach that, we've got a better supply than other people because we've got the relationships and the franchise and whatnot. And they don't perform, out they go.
Right.
And they were known to be, quote, ruthless. But the company, the entrepreneur, didn't perform. And so
why did you stick to it?
What?
Why stick to it like you did?
Well, because you have to, if you feel whether you have to judge whether you're making progress or not. And at that point in time, every year you had to go out and raise money from somebody, and that was a third party. And some companies, just stay on that initial product plan and Excel spreadsheet, but it's a very small percentage of them, and like 10, maybe 20%, and let them wander, and they may be making progress, but the market's evolving a little bit differently than you thought, and you're having to move. Software particularly can be malleable. That's why we pretty much gave up hardware projects, because boy, if you don't get it right day one,
right.
then there's no money for the next generation.
Right.
And whereas software, you could move around quite a bit.
That's what we do.
Each year you had to prove that what you were doing was the leader of this new opportunity.
Right.
And the criteria changed a bit, but you had earnest, good, intelligent, capable people working on the idea, trying to prove it out and prove on it, and so they weren't making progress quite the way you intended. But I've had some that there was Veritas, which was a tandem competitor and in nonstop computing, and there got down to where we raised in those days what would have been $1 billion today to build this company, and we ran the Korean social security system and some other big apps, but hardware was going out of fashion, and when we got to a meeting, we only had about $1 million in the bank left over, and we figured we had to sell the company not once but about 10 times to raise the amount of money necessary to build it. And he said, I said, don't you guys have rebuilt the Unix operating system to have to be able to operate in this distributed environment, and don't we have any software in there? And I've been sort of a student of the public software companies that were selling components going into IBM, and they said, yeah, well, the file system, we really did a lot of great work on the file system, and so we reinvented the company around the file system, and Joe Schoendorf went off and got AT&T that owned Unix to declare it to be the high-performance file system for Unix, and that turned into a $40 billion capitalization but you don't want to have to do that too often.
From zero to hero, from the guttermost to the uttermost, right? $1 million left in the bank to 40.
But so back on the people. So I think you have to have people that are sufficiently curious and interested in the business and keep their heads down. It's working on early stage deals is kind of lonely. So even if you're in a partnership, it's your deal and it's your problem, and you've got to keep coming back to your partners and telling them, "Oh no, we should keep supporting it." And still, I know it's not happening quite the way I know. I told you it was that, but now it's got this.
This time I'm serious.
And you're responsible. There's we always have a quote backup guy at Accel, but he can get pretty far back when they're not working, and so
keep him in the basement.
As I say, maybe they'll go straight up, and you can recruit a lot of fantastic people to it. We did it at Portal. But frequently you're just working away on this thing with the entrepreneur, trying to help them figure it out and help them raise money and help them with finding the strategy and recruiting people. And so it's a sort of long, lonely process. It might go on for 5, 8 years or more, and you have to have individuals that are curious enough and just humble and don't have too much hubris, because it's the other guy that's always be responsible. And and if you go in and grab the steering wheel, I mean, you're dead. You know?